What's going on, everyone? We got 4 brand new Pokemon forms in the new Pokemon Pokopia trailer. And listen, I don't know. Where I come down on this is, for all intents and purposes, these are Pokemon forms. And if not, they just are Pokemon forms. I want to go to the website. First thing that stands out to me is that these Pokemon have names. I think we'll start with this new Pikachu. This is a ghost. I think this is a ghost type Pikachu. It's called Pikachu. It is a pale yellow, just a pale Pikachu with tired ears, giant eyes. Like, the actual anatomy of this Pokemon is different. I think it actually is a ghost type Pikachu. Maybe ghost electric. Even its tail is shriveled to nothing. All of the electricity, the energy in this Pokemon's body has left it completely. And this little Pokemon Pikachu, it's so cute. It's even like a reference to Mimikyu. But this Pokemon is a form. This Pokemon is a form. We also have Mosslax. I think I would give this thing, it says right here, moss has grown all over this Snorlax, and a flower sways atop its head. How long has it been asleep? This Snorlax, I believe, is a grass type. Maybe grass normal, maybe fairy grass, maybe just fairy normal type. And we also have this Pokemon Smear Guru. What a colorful chum. It looks like quite the prolific painter. And you can see this Pokemon is a lot different. The brush on its tail is a lot bigger. It's got more color, more vibrancy. And this is kind of what I want to talk about, right? Yes, these Pokemon have new names. They have new they have new designs, essentially. But these are not regional forms, right? These are not Pokemon evolutions. I think these Pokemon are a lot more similar to a Blood Moon Ursaluna. That's the situation we're dealing with. A lot more similar to the Eternal Flower Floette, right? A lot more similar to Deontay, right? Deontay is a product. It's a Pokemon that is birthed out of a Carbink. Like a Carbink could become a Deontay. And all of these Pokemon, what they all have in common is that they are not affected by their environment, but instead, right? It's like a change that happens to these Pokemon, but it is removed, or it's individual to this specific Pokemon as a character, as a individual, and it's and this form change is specific to the character and is removed from the species of Snorlax. It's removed from the species of Pikachu. This Pikachu it is not a natural phenomenon. Not any Pikachu can become Pikachu, right? This is not like, only in this land of Pokopia does Pikachu become Pikachu. We see Pikachu, we see Snorlax in the base game, roaming around your island. These are very specific instances, right? And I think this is so cool because this is something that Game Freak has been thinking about for the entirety of Generation 9, right? We're still in Generation 9. Think about that Blood Moon Ursaluna, and you could even bring it back to Generation 6, which is also, guess what? It makes a little bit more sense now why we got a Generation 6 remake with Legend ZA in Generation 9. Like, these ideas are all tethered together, and I think they're really interesting, and I definitely think we're going to be seeing more of these characters in this game within Pokopia. I think what we're seeing here is Pikachu. Something has happened to this Pikachu, right? Something has happened specifically to this Pikachu. Maybe it's aged, maybe it's died, right? And that is how it becomes a ghost type. Mosslax, not Snorlax, but Snorlax originally fell asleep, fell into a depression. It is now covered in moss. And we see actually that this is kind of a callback, or in line, maybe not a callback, but it is in line with Snorlax's Gigantamax form. And where it falls asleep on its belly and a tree grows out of its like stomach. Like, this is something that Snorlax is prone to, and this particular Snorlax has undergone, I guess a form change, you know, because they do have a different name. I guess you could call it an evolution, but I don't think this is evolution, right? Just like the convergent Pokemon, the lookalike Pokemon are not evolution. I think these Pokemon are not evolution. Like Blood Moon Ursaluna is something that happened to one specific Ursaluna that allowed it to become Blood Moon Ursaluna. And did I even say this yet? Like, to me, my understanding of all these Pokemon is that they are legendary forms of regular Pokemon. That's my headcanon. That is how I understand this. Smearguru is the legendary form of Smeargle. There's Smeargle everywhere, but only one Smeargle has become a prolific painter. Only one Smeargle has mastered its craft and become this Smearguru. Like, they have new names. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. They have new names. These Pokemon are not, like, this isn't just, you know, prolific Smeargle. This is a new Pokemon. It's a new Pokemon form. Absolutely. This is just excited me so much, and I'm really excited to see what other new forms we could see in Pokopia. And it's kind of got my brain chugging along. I will be back with another theory video if if we get, I got to sit on this idea a little bit. I really want to sit on this idea. But I'm excited. I guess a couple possibilities we could think about right here is, could these Pokemon actually end up in the mainline series? Could these Pokemon end up in Pokemon Champions? I'll say possibly, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think these Pokemon will stay and remain in Pokopia, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. Like, this is also similar to like Shadow Lugia, right? Shadow Lugia is a special Lugia. It is a corrupted version of one particular Lugia, but not a species-wide phenomenon. Does that make sense? I think I'm explaining this correctly. And it really just gets me pumped. I think this is really, really special. I did gloss over Professor Tangrowth because it doesn't have a new name, but this Pokemon, in this Pokemon form, does have something very specific going on to it, and that is that all of its vines on top of its head have lost their color, have lost their pigment, and now they are white. I think this is another sign of aging. I think we could potentially be seeing a ghost grass type Tangrowth, but also because it is so smart, right? Tangrowth in this land of Pokopia has mastered its craft and has gone very far in one direction with its existence, and that is its intelligence. It's kind of like that's like the trait that is its craft. Professor Tangrowth focused on intelligence and being able, it has become a teacher, right? And so maybe I could see this Pokemon becoming a grass and psychic type. And that was one more thing that I wanted to bring up. We did a full video about this on the Hidden Power podcast. And the other idea that I had with these Pokemon is, if they were able to be brought out into another Pokemon game, if we see these in battle in any sort of way, I think it would be really interesting to see these Pokemon. Mega Evolution will min-max a lot of different stats. Dynamax will give a Pokemon like a huge HP stat buff. Terastallization, right, will give these Pokemon, a new type. I guess I don't know. Maybe the gimmicks are the wrong thing to look at. Maybe the correct thing to look at would actually be something like Eternal Flower Floette, where a Pokemon is getting a big stat buff. But what I'm thinking about is, if Professor Tangrowth is harnessing its intelligence, right? If that is the ultimate if that's the ultimate form of its ability, then I think I could see Professor Tangrowth with this new type combination actually getting a ridiculously high special offense or special attack stat, right? So imagine its normal stats, but now special attack is just maxed out completely. Pikachu is it's a ghost type Pikachu, and I could see this Pokemon maxing out its speed stat, becoming even quicker as a ghost, right? It can pass through walls. Mosslax maybe has a ton of HP. It could take a lot of hits. Smear Guru, maybe this one's special attack. Maybe this one's special defense. But that's kind of how I'm seeing these Pokemon. And I just think it's really interesting to see that, this Game Freak worked on this project. And this game was originally supposed to be a spin-off, Pokopia. We learned in the Terra Leak that this game was originally planned as a spin-off to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And so Game Freak has had their hands in this game. Even though it's not being developed by Game Freak, I think this is really cool to see that we are seeing new Pokemon in this game. And it's just exciting. And now I'm even thinking, I'm like, could we see new Pokemon debut in Pokemon Champions? That's pretty exciting. I just wanted to come on here and talk about these things real quick. I got pretty pumped. And let me know what you think about these Pokemon. I think these are new forms. For all intents and purposes, these are new forms. And these, again, are legendary forms. They're one-of-one evolutions, or one-of-one forms of regular Pokemon, essentially making them legendary because they are completely unique to themselves. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe for more.